What is up? Sublime with Rome here, and you are watching Tattoo.com.
Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me out there in the Facebook world? I don't know what you're doing today, but I'm hanging out with Rome.
What's up?
Fuck yeah. You know what I mean? How awesome is this?
Awesome. I was just in Nashville. Now I'm in Hollywood, baby. Well, closer to Santa Monica now, but it's nice.
So what were you doing in Nashville? Any secrets you want to tell me and everybody listening?
I was hanging out with Travis Tritt. He was just like the nicest guy you've ever met in your life. Yeah, no, we were just out there just kicking it and looking at houses and stuff. And yeah, just kind of, we got new agents, so we're meeting up with them out there. And then, yeah, just got to hang out with some friends and family. So it was pretty cool.
Well, I know who you are, and you know who you are, and people watching should know who you are. But in case they don't, you have your fucking head under a fucking rock. But if you don't, would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Yes, my name is Rome, and I travel around the world with Sublime with Rome, and we play great music and are very grateful to have badass jobs, man. Fuck. I mean, yeah, totally. It's like a great time to be alive.
You know, your guys' music makes me think summer, beach, California, hanging out. So I kind of see, I heard a rumor you guys might be doing a festival type thing in the winter, but it's a kind of tropical. You want to tell me all about that? I believe it's Cancun, if I'm correct. I mean, if you got to say goodbye to summer.
That's how you do it.
How do we do it? Can you explain what experience this would be?
We're doing, so Club Tattoo is throwing this festival in Cancun called Mayan Mayhem Festival. And yeah, I mean, it's got, we're on the bill, and Dirty Heads are on the bill, some dope DJs and like Revolution and stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's like, I think it's like a 2-day festival, and it's got all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's going to have the like best tattoo artists in the world pretty much there, and a lot of dope like meet and greet packages and stuff. And then, just all kinds of booze, and it's going to be on the sand, and you can't really go wrong,
Again, if you got to say goodbye to summer, what the fuck better way to do that? You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
And, you were touching on some of the tattoo artists there. I heard that Bob Tyrell might be there. He's like one of my faves. We're not gonna give away everything about your tattoos, but if you could shout out for me a tattoo artist that you would like, and then we'll talk a little bit more with you live so the people out there can see you. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna fuck with you, because we're not really gonna fuck with you. We want you to follow us and you everywhere. So we're going to tease you. This is kind of like the Peep Show where you put the money in and then the shade comes down and then it goes back up and you stick to the floor kind of thing. Yeah, we're going to cut it pretty soon, and then we're going to be behind the scenes.
Snapchat account.
Oh, is that what it is? See, I'm too old for the Snapchat, and you're probably too young to remember the Peep Shows that I'm talking about. So we're meeting somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Did I make you blush there?
No, I think I made your son blush, though. He knows what I'm talking about.
That's the blister in my hand from sweeping, Mom. I swear. What? No. I'm sorry. See, I told you it would go off the rails. Don't you love live? I mean, how do you pull that back?
I mean, yeah, that's like kind of what concerts are about too. Just crazy shit happens. You just gotta go with it.
I'm sure you've probably seen more boobies out than ever. But when you're
shit. Not just tits, all kinds of stuff.
So that being said, can you give me like some of your wildest? Because as you say, you've been in the game for a while. This isn't new to you. What is one of the most wildest experiences that comes to you?
I saw a guy get like pretty much beat to death in Portugal once. Yeah, that was pretty crazy. And then, yeah, I see some crazy stuff, all kinds of good, but then good stuff too. I've seen like $100,000 dollars get rained from the top of a building one time. That was cool. I think a rapper was up there, but there's a bunch of people just scurrying around trying to scoop the money up. It's pretty cool.
But kind of like that game show again, way back in the day, where you went into the bubble and you hit the button and you grabbed as much as you could.
Exactly.
God, I would love to do that shit. So, Oh, yes. As we got off on really excited stuff, like we went from hand jobs to money falling from the sky. That can only really happen in the music world, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So
the movie world,
music and movies. And music, you got some new music coming out. You want to tell the fans and what they should be buckling up for?
We don't have a release date yet, but we got a new album coming. And we got a song out, Wicked Heart, That's pretty much all over. Go listen to it on Spotify. Spotify pretty much runs the music industry now. And then we got some more dates and some more. We got a video coming soon for Wicked Heart. That'll be cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Next year we got a big tour coming. I can't tell you who, but it'll be awesome.
Talk about a tease. You were all going to blame me, and he's all like, yeah, we got this fucking major-ass tour coming up. Banana boo-boo, I'm not telling you.
Maybe on the video.
See, I tried, guys. I tried with all of my soul. But you know what? We got to stick to some rules here, right?
Yeah, some sort of form and order. I'll get yelled at by my management.
Ah, yeah. Lucky for me, in my world, I am the boss, so you know.
I like that. Yeah. I'm not even the boss at home. I got a wife and a kid. They set the rules.
So how long did it take for her to train you? Because I know it took me like 10 or 12 years.
Oh, we're still in process, I guess.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I honestly think that what keeps a marriage together is that challenge of like, really? How many times do I have to tell you the same thing over? And then once it happens, it's like the challenge is done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, or you just like accept somebody for who they are. You're just like, you're going to keep doing that forever. So I better learn to love it or divorce or something. I don't know.
But to be fair, you're on the road a lot. So serious question about that. How does, the time away from home and then reacclimating, how do you do that? Because as you say, you see some fucking wild shit, money rain from the sky, people getting beat, tits in the air. How do you reacclimate to taking out the trash and stuff?
You just do it, you just come home and you haven't seen your kids and, your family and so long that, it's like all that matters. When you come home, it's like, you don't really, there's other things you got to do, right? Obvious shit, like life stuff. But I don't know, it's like you always find time for your priorities, so if it's drugs, you'll find time to get high. If it's, fucking hanging out with your friends, you and your boys will hang out all the time. And for me, it's like a little combination of everything, but you always make time for your priorities, and my family is a huge priority to me.
So do you feel like that attitude has reflected in your new music? Like, I don't want to say the more grown-up version, but, you add family and kids to the mix. That's kind of being an adult thing, but the rest of it is still the same. How has that affected your music?
It makes you just like, for me personally, I guess it makes me choose, be a little bit more selective with what it is that I want to put out in the world, and that's pretty much with anything really. I mean, any piece of content that I will, put out with my name attached to it, it definitely makes you a little bit more selective with that. And then also, you kind of, it's a big experience, for anybody who has like a kid or like starts a family or something. So that being said, it kind of changes a lot of your inner workings and your inner wirings, and it makes you see things differently. It should anyway. And that alone, just artistically, whether it's, via lyrics or, if you're a painter or something, but it changes your life. So anything you create is going to be different just by that alone. So yeah, there's definitely a lot more, inside, I guess, with the new music.
Well, I love it. I have one other music question, and then we're going to scooch on to the part where we say you're going to have to tune in to see the rest of it about tattoos. But one other music question. Who, out of the up-and-coming or newer bands or just bands in general, do you sit back and listen to as your go-to music?
Blacktop Queen. They're a band out of Los Angeles, and they're like I think the best rock band out right now. That's like new and they don't have like a huge following right now, so they'll be a really big band if they can stay together as long as it takes. The thing about bands, it takes a really long time for bands to take off. It's a little bit faster for other genres of music, just because you're kind of open to a Rolodex of different resources. But with rock and roll specifically in this time period, it's a little bit more difficult. So you have to kind of have a little more skin in the game and just be willing to weather out the storm, so to speak. But these guys are extremely talented, and all their songs are like phenomenally written and produced just the right amount of rock and roll and just the right amount of like modern kind of production. And I don't know, I'm just really big fans of the band, and because of that, I've become friends with them. But yeah, they're a really good band. Check them out.
So imagine if you're sitting at home right now and you're that band, you just shit yourself because Rome is like. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, they're pretty dope dudes, Evan, the singer, he does a lot of writing with other, dope big name acts. And the drummer Nate, actually, he is drummer for Halsey. So he's like, it's really hard for him to even be home and tour the band because Halsey is like on fire and travels everywhere. You know what I mean? So, and he's been the drummer since day one. So they're both really talented dudes who know some really talented people, and anybody who knows them is like, they're like their biggest fans. So, yeah. Well, I've been trying to get them on tour for a long time. Hopefully one day we can do a tour, or maybe we'll open up for them one day. That would be cool.
That is so awesome, man. You know what I really liked about that? What you just said was fucking real, because your expressions in your face, it's not like you're like, okay, I've got to say this because I owe somebody a favor, or somebody got me into prom one time, or that person gave me head for the first time. Whatever. You like felt that shit. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we're all fucking music fans at the end of the day, You can't lose touch of that. I think even like the biggest rock stars in the world, like they still geek out when they hear shit that is just awesome, Like, you can have 0 followers or 1 million, doesn't matter. But you hear something awesome and it just like reverts you to your like caveman, like your instinct, I think. That's what I meant by that.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of awesome, get ready to get the new album, which is coming out soon. Hopefully secrets will be told here.
Next summer or something like that, I think. That's what we're aiming for.
I'm really super stoked.
Goals.
You do. Mine is just putting my feet on the floor every day and getting up.
God bless it.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to the live portion of this video. And again, we were hanging with Rome. And we are going to go now to the part where we get him half naked, look at his tattoos, take pictures of them, try to get him just...
Private Snapchat.
Yeah, get him to stand on his head, whatever we can get out of him. And if you want to see all the shenanigans that go down, you're going to have to stay tuned to Tattoo.com, The Edge Rock Radio, Rockwell Radio on the Edge, Mischievous Mel, and Rockwell Anderson. And don't forget, Sublime with Rome.
Yep. Let's get it.
Yeah.
So the top one right here is old like Bob Marley tattoo that's like someone fucked up, and then my boy Nate like tried and saved it, and he did an all right job. And then this was like a weed leaf that I got attached to it that, I'm going to put some color into that one of these days. And then this one is Biggie Smalls. It's like huge influence on me. I mean, basically hip hop and reggae were like the two musical styles that I first heard that I really liked. And then like the rock came later with Sublime and stuff. But so I wanted to get a tattoo, and that's done by Nate, the same guy. I gave him a fresh page to try something of his own. That's done by Nate too. I still got to get that touched up. I was just drunk. And that's just some fucking dead chick. Then this is done by Nick Westfall. This dude's a fucking beast right here. He's really good. I didn't have an idea, so I was just like, I just want something that's like solid and stands for something like, just like rock solid. And he's like, what about this dude? And I was like, that looks tight. So that's David. And then I think I also threw in I had him throw in like a little UFO saucer there, and then a little star of David, because David, Jewish name, I don't know. And then Ren and Stimpy, man. So everybody who worked on our first record got the tattoo, pretty much, and we all got it. Like, it just stands for like brotherhood. When we saw it, it's just like, man, those are like brothers, thick and thin. So yeah, we decided to all get it.
Now, do you all have them in the same spot?
No, everyone's got it different.
So
yeah.
Like if you all lined up, it'd be like an
we have
awesome
a picture.
game of chess.
We have like a picture where we're all kind of like in front of like the mixing board, and everyone's like got where their tattoo is. Someone's got it on their leg, one dude's got it on their butt. Like, yeah, it's pretty. Everyone's got it different, but there's like 8 or 9 of us got it. And then what else we got? This was my first tattoo. This is a band Coheed and Cambria. And this is their symbol right here. And then this is a lyric to their song, We'll Make It If You Believe. The song's called Everything Evil. And I was like, I love that song. I was like, used to take the bus to work and listen to that shit and be like, fuck, one of these days I'm going to get a record deal.
And here you are.
I know, right? Life's funny. And then this is Fresh Goods is the name of my publishing company, label.
Do you want me to move?
Yeah. Let me see that again.
Oh, yeah. So that's it's not a very good one. That was done at like 4 a.m, just I literally woke the dude up and was like, we want a tattoo. He's like, I don't, now. We're like, no, now. He's like, all right. And then this was like another tattoo I got when the song with me and the Dirty Heads, we had a song called Lay Me Down. And that was like number one on radio. And we were fucking just, we just felt invincible. We thought that anything, that would never go away. And we were all like, dude, let's get a fucking tattoo, like. And then a lot of the guys had that. And I was just like, I'm going to fucking get my placa on there. So I got one. And then I got a light bulb smashed out because every time we'd be together, I just get blacked out. And then, mom for my mom. I love my mom. And then the Giants, because I'm from the Bay, hold it down. Giants life. And then this is one of our first merchandise, like our first designs was a skull with a mohawk. So I wanted to get that tattoo. No real significant meaning behind it. And then I wanted the San Francisco city skyline because from the Bay. And then this is my worst fucking tattoo. This is like some, I don't know what the fuck it is. It's like a skull with like a suit or something. I got into skulls for a minute, and I was just like, this dude was just starting out. I don't even remember his name. And he was like, yeah, I'll hit your arm. I'll probably get that removed and get something sick on there.
Maybe
and then,
he was going for a 9 to 5 will kill you.
Yeah, he was going, yeah, maybe, huh? I like that. I'm going to run with that. That's a much better
if
fucking,
to a fucking cubicle every day instead
that's
of
a
staying on
much
stage.
better story, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm just going to use that. All right, let's make some room for the real ones. This is Bad Brains right here. They're like monumental influence. They're just phenomenal band. If you don't know who they are, then stop watching this. Go listen to them right now. Or go hit play and turn them down and watch the rest of this video while the music's playing underneath it. Because, music in the background is good. And then this is Nirvana. I love Nirvana. It's pretty much all music for me, man, because that's all I really fucking know. Dead Kennedys, one of my favorite fucking punk bands ever. And Misfits and Black Flag. You gotta have your bars. Everyone in the band's got their bars. And then, shout out to my dad because he's the one who kind of introduced me to all this punk. And then I have Sublime right here inside of a microphone grenade, which is actually Rage Against the Machine's very, very first EP cover. And instead of Rage inside, I just put Sublime. Those are like my first two favorite bands in the world. For a favorite too. And then this right here was like a single cover for a record that me and my buddies did in Texas called Terrorista. And this is my area code. This tattoo doesn't get me into some restaurants around the world. Heads up to anybody doing some traveling or want to do some traveling with hand tattoos. They're not really widely accepted in some places in the world. And then I got one right here for my mom. But it's nothing crazy. It just says Teresa. I want to get like some fucking clouds and shit, but yeah. And that's it, honestly. I don't have any more tattoos, You get old and then older, and you just kind of fall out, You don't want to go through the pain in the process anymore.
So, yeah, no, you're never too old, man.
No, I know. No, of course not. But, time is of an essence, like in, what we do. So then I'm like, okay, am I about to sit 6 hours in a chair right now for that? Or am I going to do this? So that becomes like the big choice. But now I'm like really been itching back into it. A couple of my friends have got some phenomenal work recently. And I've just been like, like that tattoo jealousy,
Mm-hmm.
when you're like, oh, I want one too. That's kind of how
I do
it's been.
know of this.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, yeah. Once you start, for me, I couldn't just have one floating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this bugs me. I love it, but it's just floating.
Yeah.
There needs to be more there.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's how it starts, honestly.
Yeah.
You get one, and then it's just there.
And then I figure if God gave you that much space, you should use it for something good.
Yeah, fill it in.
Yeah. And I don't know. I'm all for the tattoos.
Yeah.
Now, is what I got to ask you, though. I mean, you did some color, but
Yeah.
you leaned to stay away from it. Are you going to get more? And if so, why?
I'd
or is
like
it just
to.
what you're feeling at the minute?
A lot of the time, just what I'm feeling, and then also like my skin like reacts differently to certain colors, And I'm kind of glad that I didn't go full ham on the color in the beginning. Like go crazy with it because I got to see how my body reacted to certain colors over time. Like, for example, this Giants one was orange.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then over the course of, because I'm exposed in the sun a lot because we play a lot live, like festivals and stuff. So like that kind of faded to like a kind of reddish kind of thing, and then when you like inside, it's like in a lower lit room, it's almost like a maroon, And then same with this. These were this was red. I mean, it's still were red, but these ones all kind of like I got to see like what this was green at one point.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was reacted a little better than here, but I think it's because he used a different shade. So I just kind of got to see like what is, but to answer your question more thoroughly, yeah, I definitely would like to, introduce a little more color moving forward with the tattoos, but probably not like other than the colors that I already have on here that I can already see. I'd be like too scared to try like a bright neon green and then it just turned to like fucking forest green in 5 years.
So that brings me to my next question. They've got like the new fad with the glow-in-the-dark tattoos, and then the ones that are like fucking neon, and then the ones with the piercings.
Yeah.
Does any of that appeal to you? And
not really. Like, honestly, in regards to body modification, that was something that kind of like, I guess, like I kind of into like piercings and stuff like that. Like I kind of like grew out of that like in my mind, in my like earlier 20s, maybe like my later teens, and then I got really into like tattoos, and then so like yeah, piercings aren't really like my gig anymore. Like I used to have more, and then I don't know. I just like I would like fucking move one and it would like rip and I broke my tooth on this thing when it was a ring, and it's like you get beat up from them if you don't take care of yourself. And I would get drunk and just fucking thrash myself. So I was like, all right, I better fucking clean it up. The glow in the dark ones are cool too. I have some homies with some glow in the dark ink and it's cool, but I don't know. Like I just like I still kind of like traditional like like color tattoos, and man, some of these tattoos that I've been seeing are just phenomenal. Like, the game is getting so crazy. And I got to scoop me up some stuff like that, like, relatively soon, because, yeah, my friends are getting way nicer tattoos than I am. It's not fair.
Do you have any artist in mind that you might want to have tattoo you?
Off top, no. I mean, like 100 of them that I follow on my fucking Instagram that I look at every day, but I don't remember any of their names. I'm terrible with names. But there's literally just so much fucking great artists out there now.
There is.
And then with things, it's almost really weird because it's a difficult place. I remember when I was younger and there were tattoo artists, you weren't exposed to so much. So you grew fans of certain styles and certain artists, whether it be like, Paul Booth or like, Jerry Lance or something like you grow into these, like, oh, these are the kind of guys I like and I like this. And, that's like your 5 to maybe, a dozen type of things, But now it's almost like you get exposed to just hit the hashtag of tattoo and it's 100,000. You can scroll all day long and just find the most badass artists from Japan, fucking Spain, Brazil, America, Utah, whatever. Like, and it almost kind of like devalues what one image is because you're now staring at 100,000 of them, and therefore the name becomes less relevant because you're more just like, oh fuck, well finding a tattoo like that won't be too hard. Look, I like a tattoo like that. This guy's got 100,000 followers. Give me something like that, So it's really fucking weird, And I see like the same kind of problem, or not necessarily problem, but the same sort of effect kind of happening in digital media and painting and art as well, Shit, even in music, there's you don't get like 10 bands that 100,000 fucking bands come at you every week, rappers, singers. So we're in an interesting time right now.
Do you feel like, also speaking of the interesting time, because the music that you play kind of falls on both sides of this, I feel like, 'cause you guys are still relevant, still new, still coming out with some new shit. But let's be real, my 90s music that I was in high school too, is now on the oldies station, and it trips me
Yeah.
the fuck out. And the guys that were, and they're playing the casinos, and there's nothing wrong with that. But now it's kind of like we're at the
Well, it
80s.
shifts.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what is the next big? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how is it going to work? Because, like you said, you're fighting the digital with the old school, with the whatever. And for me, what I see and what I always tell people is like, okay, if you buy that album, that's awesome. Go buy that album.
Yeah.
If you're going to like it, you like them. But then see the same band live, because it's a whole different fucking beast.
Yeah.
And it is, number one, it keeps venues awesome and open. And number two, if you think you loved them on the album, wait until they can be unleashed.
Yeah, I mean, if the sole purpose is to always fight against the noise and try and stand out to score a win, like, it's just a terrible model for success, and you will fail. Even if you get one, you try and focus and do that. Like you said, for like your 90s music, I think for the ones who are intelligent, they've embraced what it is that they do very well and the people who they connect with. And you fucking service those people. You give them what they want. You know what I mean? Like, you give them a great fucking show. And then you put out the best music that you can for them. And it's like a family. It's like a community that you've built. If you're, like, if it'd be like if we were trying to go and take away 21 Pilots fan base. Why? Why the fuck would we ever want to do that? We don't want to compete with 21 or fucking, Imagine Dragons. Like, that's not what we do. That's not what we're about. We have our own fans and we do our own thing. And, our fans have constantly continued to support us year after year after year. And, it even grows. And I think, because of the fact that we don't try and, like, steal anyone's shine or try and, get them to take us to the next fucking level, it's just more like a respect that we have. And I think that any kind of artist, band, or brand kind of adopts that philosophy. Like, it's only good for you and everyone else, because, I don't know, like, let people win. Let them do what they're doing. Like, it's not always going to be your time, and it shouldn't always be your time, Like, Madonna can't even be Madonna forever, and
Things sag. What?
yeah, man. Like, shit, dude, that's life. You know what I mean? Like, totally. That's how it goes.
One other question, and then I will let you off the hook. Oh, what? Now you made me forget my question. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah, I know what it was. Because of festivals, like you said, service everybody and service their needs. And I've noticed that festivals, and I love this as a festival grower, it's kind of like the music is a backdrop to an event or an adventure. Like, you're coming there to do the liquor, or you're coming there for the food, or you're coming there for whatever. But the backdrop to that is, you guys on stage and a band that you may have never heard before. So that being said, festivals, like your other passion besides music, like if you were going to throw one and you were going to say, okay, this is what I want, these are the people I was going to service, what would, like, your vendor walkway dash entertainment? Because, some of them are like, the hot sauce taco festivals and the micro brews. And
you kind of have to now, because it's like back in, like, let's use the 90s, for example. The 90s was a perfect time because it was a time where there was probably the most money being made during that time because of the merging of brands and these big, touring vessels. But at the time, everybody was selling records. So everybody was quick to make millions of bucks back then. So what happened was artists were making millions of dollars off record sales. So it wasn't very common for pop stars to be touring that often. Even rappers, like, maybe they would go and, like, hit a circuit, but they'd get, club money, club appearance money, and we go hit the road, So now, fast forward to today's time. There's no more money in record sales. So all of those comfortable pop stars, and yes, even the older ones now, everybody is on the road. You have to get your tour buses booked in advance, a year in advance, sometimes a year and a half.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Talk about planning.
2 or 3 if you're Taylor Swift and you need 38 buses.
Fuck.
So, and yeah, it's a big show. So that being said, everybody and their mama is touring. So you need the next level of that then. Thus what you're talking about, the brand experiences, right? Like the Angry Orchard meets with McDonald's hip hop tour, like all this weird stuff, So it's almost imperative now to really focus on your live show and extracurricular activities for the live show, so people have a reason to come, because when you got Drake coming into town and you got Keith Urban coming into town and you got Sublime coming into town, it's not just you going by yourself, it's you going with the collective of friends. And they're all three different styles of music, correct? But they're all three badass times. Like, I don't even listen to this kind of shit, but we could get drunk and hang out with my friends and listen to this, no problem, So you have to, when Drake's got the fucking 360 panorama view and the stage that comes down, and then they got this, Angry Orchard's got their, fucking live cider tasting, da-da-da, and, what's Sublime gonna do, you know what I mean? So I think it is important to think about that, because they're your fans, and you want to give them the best fucking reason to come back next year and bring somebody with them,
So if you were gonna come out with like a brand of your own, like whether it be coffee, energy drink, strand of weed, whatever it may be, what would be your go-to? And is any of that in the process?
Well, I mean, if I was
anything you can tell us.
I mean, we do a lot of like licensing deals.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where, we could like trademark the name or, possibly cross-trade some promotion and stuff. But, as far as like inventing, if I was to put my name on something, like, man.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, would it be like, would it be Sublime Honey? Or would it be like Sublime Coffee? Or,
It would probably be like some hot sauce. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you could still move it from state to state, not have to worry about fucking legalities and shit like that.
And it will move right through you if you do it the right way.
Yeah. And so you have to buy another one.
Right.
So, yeah. Hot sauce is cool. Shout out to Dexter from Offspring. He's got a really good hot sauce. And, yeah. Plus, my wife loves hot sauce, too. So, just endless supply. We could save some money on that.
There you go. Well, I know that was a weird question, but like you say, we got around to weaving everything together. And
yeah.
I'm so excited because you guys are, like you said, you're still relevant. Some of the bands you talk to, you love forever and a day, but they really ain't doing much.
Hey,
so it's neat to talk to them, and and it's like awesome. But as a fan, I still want to see you on stage. And what I love is, and I notice this is one of my favorite things about going to a show, is when you have a band that's been around, that you grew up with, and you love their old music, and they play that because that's what you want in your heart and your soul as a fan. But then don't be that asshole that doesn't like the new music, so they slide in the new stuff, and then you're just like, oh, what is this whole nother world of it's kind of like fucking them for the first time all over again. I mean,
you gotta get the right balance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You gotta get the right balance. Can't be too much new, can't be too much old. You gotta kind of gotta make everyone happy. People forget that this is show business. This is entertainment. We are entertainers. It's not ego. It's not let me push to you, shit that, I got followers now, I'm going to fucking switch it on them. It's like, dude, we're fucking supposed to go up there and put on a badass show. If it's a little bit of the new stuff, cool. If it's a little bit of the old stuff, great. But it doesn't matter. Every audience is different, and you got to service your fucking audience, man.
How scary is it for you as a band to look out there and play that for like the first few times where the fans, you leak some of it online and stuff and they look, but I mean, is it, like, what is that like from the stage? You know what I mean?
It's not so much scary on the perceptive side because, people are usually pretty amped, and by the time we work in some new stuff, they're, tipsy and smoked up, so they're feeling good. It's more so on our end where we're like, we don't fuck this up, because we know our shit, because we've been playing, I've been playing Sublime songs with Eric for 11, 12 years, longer than we've been in the band. And then Eric's been playing his whole life. Like, there's never been a Sublime show where Eric hasn't been on stage ever in the history of Sublime. So it's like, we know that stuff, no problem. But, when we got some new stuff, that's more like when we're like, okay, I hope we can kill it. Because the fans, we have awesome fans, man. Like, we've pretty much been around long enough now where we've, like anybody who's not about the band now, they leave us to our piece, and we just got left with, the people who fuck with the movement and, fuck with the sound. So they come in droves and support us, and so when we play some new shit, they're always in pretty good reception.
Well, and you gap generations, because I know, my kiddo's 19, you're going to be 19, and we show each other new music and go to shows together. So, I mean, what is that like for you when you're like, oh my God, it's a mommy and me experience, or that daddy's taking his, kid to our show for the first time? And
it's actually fucking really radical, because for me, like, I grew up loving Sublime anyway, so they're like my favorite band, so that's like a whole other separate thing. But moving forward, if you're going to talk about it from another standpoint, just the fact that I'm being met and introduced to 3 different generations, just like that. Today, like, it's easily, you could get easily caught up in, like, I want to be the most relevant popping thing in the fucking culture right now. But people are quick to forget that as short as life is, it's also very long. Longevity, and you have to think about, like what Lil Pump's gonna do at 40, and things like that. He may very well be fucking, well set off, and I'm sure a lot of these kids are going to be. But I just mean, like, in purpose of example, like, you have to think about the bigger picture. And, when you're 14 and you listen to this now, you grow up and you get into college and you get, into different things and your life changes. So you listen to different shit. And what happens with a lot of artists I see is they grow out of their fan base grows up. If you come in too young, or if you come in too old, like your fan base will lose interest. You know what I mean? So it's like it has to be a really like touchy thing, and an artist has to be really consistent with the quality over the course of years and morph, just like the fucking Rolling Stones. They got records that sounded kind of disco-y. They got records that sounded kind of 70. They did a hip hop joint, but they did it their way and kept it. You know what I mean? And I think that's really important for longevity. And so when I meet, like, and I swear to God, it's funny you said that, because that does happen all the time at Sublime shows. You'll see, like, the grandma, the daughter, and the daughter is either pregnant or the daughter has, like, a younger kid or son. But it's always like this triple lineage, because, like, it's just like Sublime gets reintroduced. The music that Bradley wrote, it's timeless. So it'll just continually keep bringing these people in. And I'm always amazed by that. Because I go hang out with my other friends or get invited to other artist concerts and stuff, and I watch their fan base, and it's like, it's very much like, okay, yeah, they're like your age, and you guys all dress alike, but not at Sublime with their own shows. It's so hard to pinpoint what a Sublime fan is, us specifically. It's a beautiful thing.
Aww. All right. Well, apparently I talk a lot, but
me too, dude. I'm a chatterbox.
I know. I fucking love it, because when you ask somebody a question, they're like, I don't know. It's like, really?
Yeah.
What are you doing, man? But now that I've said that, I want you to shout out where they can find all things Sublime.
Yeah.
You said this is where you pimp yourself out like a $2 hooker, and then afterwards we take a picture.
Yeah, cool. You can pretty much follow all our stuff, on at Sublime with Rome anywhere, and then, like, go listen to our music on, like, Spotify. Like, add it to a playlist, because that's how it's done these days. I would say call up your local radio station, but they don't even like that anymore. You just bug them. So don't even do that. Just add it to a playlist. And add them on Twitter or tell them to add it to their playlist. That's how it's done now.